I believe I just watched one of Diddy's defense attorneys unintentionally reveal sensitive information and implicate himself during a live interview.
You're on the defense, right?
Right.
In the trial, are you
I'm working as PDM for one of the attorneys that's on P. Diddy's side.
There are generally two kinds of black people, those who move towards the white man holding the camera and those who move away from him. This particular man seemed to risk what I assume is a well-paying position simply for attention. He didn't even bother to ask about the size of the YouTube channel or the follower count to ensure his public statements would have significant reach. It appears he was simply eager to get in front of any camera available. In my view, losing his job should be the least of his concerns after this interview. He should be far more worried about potentially being investigated for some very serious crimes.
in the trial, are you
I'm working as PDM for one of the attorneys that's on P. Diddy's side.
Okay.
All right, so
you're working with the defense attorneys.
Right. Mm-hmm. I just think that what y'all hear on the news and what you actually see in the trial is two different things.
What am I missing?
One of the things when it came to the young lady, what she was saying, but at the same time, she say that she has an appetite for some of those activities. Okay, but when you consent to that and you're a consenting adult, makes a whole different ball game for things.
Are they detailing the freak-offs?
But what freak-offs? That's what I'm saying. If you got consenting adults, let me give you an example. Hugh Hefner was what?
Old.
He owned the Playboy Bunny Mansion.
Okay, yeah.
And then when you went there, you went in this thing called the Cave, right?
Did you ever go to the Cave?
Yes, I wouldn't be telling you.
This individual actually said, yeah, I wouldn't be telling you if I wasn't. So it appears that one of Diddy's defense attorneys, or at least someone associated with his legal team, is openly admitting involvement with Hugh Hefner's alleged sex dungeons. Pay close attention now as he goes on to describe what activities were taking place in those underground spaces while he was present.
So when you go in the cave, what happens in the cave, stay in the cave. But Hugh Hefner had what you call a bunny plane, right? So he went around the country, he vetted some of these girls, and no one said nothing when he was bringing these underage girls here.
Were you there with the underage ones?
I don't know.
Excuse me, what are you saying? This is almost poetic. The person helping Diddy defend himself against some very serious accusations turns out to have questionable behavior himself. What do you mean you aren't aware? It's like being asked, hey, were you at Epstein Island? And responding, yeah, of course. I wouldn't be telling you about my experience there if I wasn't. Were you there when Epstein brought underage girls? I don't know. Excuse me, sir. This might be the first time a defense team member ends up added to a RICO case during the actual trial. This is disturbing. Now, looking at it from another angle, maybe there's a strategy here. Perhaps having someone who has experience with the type of accusations Diddy is facing could help the defense. Maybe someone who understands those situations closely could provide valuable insight or know how to navigate certain areas that only someone familiar with that world would understand. Maybe Brian Steele is actually thinking ahead and we're not seeing the full plan. Perhaps questions like, how long does it take for the lace baby oil to cause harm internally? Questions that might only be fully understood by someone who's been in those situations can't be directed at Diddy without risking more exposure. Maybe they need someone else who can address them. This whole situation is concerning. But unfortunately, it doesn't stop there. This same individual went on to openly admit that he was present at some of Diddy's private events. He insists that everything was respectful and consensual. However, he is now publicly identifying himself as part of Diddy's defense team, while simultaneously providing reasons why he should be subpoenaed and investigated. Not only was he involved in Hugh Hefner's sex dungeons where questions about the presence of underage individuals remain, but he also claims to have participated in Diddy's private gatherings.
I'm just saying, no one said anything. So why are we saying something where this man had a party and you had consenting adults? I didn't see one underage girl get on the stand yet and say he did X, Y, and Z. I heard a bunch of adults saying this is what it was, and it's like a gossip contest.
Were you there when the male prostitute, the Punisher, went on stage?
Oh, yeah. I know him personally.
You know the Punisher?
Yeah, I know him personally. That's the one who had on all the black things.
How do you know the Punisher?
He's related to somebody that I know.
So he was selling penis pumps and dick pills and stuff like that.
Right.
And he said he had trouble getting it hard when Diddy was yelling at him, right?
Right.
So how was his testimony?
Consenting adults. I'm gonna say it again. You know, what do we need when you have consenting adults at a party where there's sexual activities going along, as they would say, like a swingers party, you know, where a bunch of swingers be at? Same thing, contrary, right? This is what she said. She wasn't no gun pointed to her head. She was at this location willingly. You understand? Okay, and then she had a ulterior motive, correct?
What's the ulterior motive?
She wanted her career to take off, right?
Have you ever been to any of the freak-offs?
I would say possibly. You understand? But I say it was cordial. You had a lot of powerful people let me not use the word powerful, but you had a lot of people in the industry that was there. Was
it Ashton Kutcher there when you were at the freak-off?
Well, there'd be a lot of people there. You're talking about a venue that's probably double size as that, so you never...
Wait, he has a huge... There was like a gymnasium freak-off?
It's like the establishment, the venue, you know, is a very big location. So when you go there, you don't get to see everybody that's there.
It's so big, you stay to your northeast corner of the freak-off.
Yeah, you don't just go in there and you say, oh, that's Leonardo DiCaprio. You hear a lot of the things that is being said at the trial, but you never see what happens when the high-powered attorneys start executing a cross-examination of these individuals. You find out it doesn't add up to what they've been saying.
Honestly, I wouldn't even be convinced if Christ himself returned tomorrow and told me no crimes happened during one of those gymnasium-style gatherings. If someone is willing or eager to take part in that type of event, I generally expect the worst from them. In my view, if you're willing to be involved in a gymnasium-style event like that, you might not have many limits. That's just my personal perspective. Maybe I sound harsh, but if someone was bringing that kind of energy to a gymnasium-style gathering, I wouldn't be surprised by much else they'd be involved in. Again, that's just how I see it, but that's not even the main issue here. The real question is, why would an attorney publicly admit this? We haven't heard anything about gymnasium-style events during the actual trial, which makes me wonder if this man is even telling the truth. I really think, as a community, we have to hold ourselves to a higher standard. It seems like he might have just seen a white man holding a camera and a microphone and thought, I'm about to give this man the most memorable interview ever, even if he wasn't being fully honest. But when people started asking for his credentials, his name, and background, I think it suddenly hit him that he might actually be admitting to criminal activity on camera. That's when he seemed to realize he needed to leave the situation. Quickly, as he continued talking, more journalists and media personnel began to gather around, asking him direct and important questions like, who are you?
Why are you here? What is your name?
I gotta go. That's not important. That's not
How's
important.
it going?
Said he's working with the defense.
Oh, you're working with the defense?
Yeah, somewhere along the line in there.
Are you a jury consultant?
Huh?
Are you a jury consultant?
Maybe.
Are you an attorney?
Are you
Yes,
a
I am.
president? And I see.
That's
Look
right.
nice. Your picture is
Oh, thank you.
nice. It's nice. What agency you
I'm with
working
News
at?
Nation.
And you're on the defense, right?
Right.
Do you mind saying who you are?
No. It's
Okay.
not. I can't do that.
All right.
He was at one of the parties, though.
Okay.
I was here first.
Sorry about that, problem.
I was here
I'm
first.
sorry about
I was actually here first if you want to get technical,
You were
yeah.
here first.
I
I was interrupting your
All right, I'll tell you
interview.
what. This is a serious case. We don't want to hear about penises.
Well, tell that to him. He was bragging.
Can I just get my interview and I'll get the hell out your way?
Oh, yeah, I'm just going to be here.
Okay, me and this lady right here,
Laura
we're gonna do it over.
And what is your role?
I'm with the defense. That's all you need to know. Let me ask you a question. When you hear defense attorneys, what comes to your mind?
All right. Well, you're part of
Why
the
you
team.
so
All right,
hostile?
We'll move on.
okay. That comes to your mind.
Okay.
Mike,
All
chew
right.
him up
I
when
want
we
to know why
done.
you so hostile.
Trial is like what's his name? Forrest Gump said, life is a box of chocolates. When you go to a trial, you
Unfortunately,
just never know what's gonna happen when it comes up.
Did you ever see Tom Hanks at one of the parties?
Did you see Tom Hanks?
As you,
I could slide in.
okay, let me go. It's been a pleasure.
Wait, hold on.
I think it's fair to say at this point, if that's what Diddy's law team looked.
I'm going to take a chance here and say I genuinely hope this person is not connected to Diddy's legal team in any way. I really hope his claim about working under one of Diddy's defense attorneys is completely false, because this would be a very bad situation if it's true. Honestly, this isn't looking good at all. And I agree with those who say that if this individual is actually part of Diddy's defense team in any capacity, it's a serious problem for Diddy. The only thing that made this person's story sound slightly believable was that he seemed to have access to a specific entrance and exit areas usually reserved for court officials like the jury, the judge, and other authorized personnel. That type of access suggests he holds some position that allowed him to be in those restricted areas. But I can't understand why someone would choose to lie about being part of Diddy's team if it wasn't true. I'd like to hear what you think. Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe he's genuinely connected to Diddy's defense team, or do you think he's just making this up? Also, does anyone know, would it actually be a crime to falsely claim you're an attorney? Let me know. Don't forget to drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more updates.